Hello. So today we'll be looking at this question right here. It's from the most recent Division 2 contest. I actually wasn't able to participate in this Division 2 contest because I had a final that morning, so I wasn't able to take that contest. But I looked over a few of the problems and I thought that problem B was like pretty easy enough to like go over, and I thought the answer was somewhat interesting. So basically it's asking that it's a construction problem where it asks you to construct a array where each number 1 to n appears 4 times, and for each number the distance between the index of each number has to be the distances between the adjacent, well, not adjacent, but sorted indexes of the values have to be pairwise distinct. So for example, right here, let's just look at value 1. The distance between 1 and the next value 1 is 0, 1 and the next one is 1, and then the next one is 2. And then that's the same for 2. 2, the next distance between this one and this one is 1, this one is 3, this one is 0. And 3, 0, and 1 are not equal to each other, so they're pairwise distinct. And pairwise distinct means that there are no pairs that are equal. And then the same thing is for 3. It's 3, 3, which is 0, 3, 3, 2, and then 3, 3, which is 1. So the first thing you can actually notice, well, in this type of problem, you always want to look at the smallest cases first. So I consider, what if n was equal to 2? What could I do? What would my answer be if n was equal to 2? And I could do, I know I need a 1 and a 1, I can have a 1 and a 1 together. And then I think maybe if I put 2's on both sides, the distance will be 2. And then 1 right here, so the distance is 1, and then this 2, and then I put another 2, and then I put a 1. And then I'll see that this answer actually works because the distance between these two is 0, is 1, the distance between these two is 2, and these two is 3. Distance between these two is 1, these two is 2, and these two is 3. And I actually said like the distances in a different content format. And here I meant the distance I meant is like the amount of values between them that aren't equal to that value. But just know that it doesn't really matter. It's basically saying the same thing. So yeah, so I realized that for n equals to 2, this answer works. And then what I can realize is that the values that I place are kind of separate from each other. So if I have n equals 2, so for example, if I had n equals 4, I don't have to mix n 1, 2, 3, and 4 together. I could split it into two chunks of n equals to 2. So I could have 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. And then for the same one, I could have 4, 3, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4, 3, where 4 matches to 2 and 3 matches to 1. And this will work because the two, for each value compared to its own value, they're all pairwise distinct because it's following the same structure as n equals to 2. So I realized that this will work I can do this for any even n, but then you might ask, what if n is odd, right? And I see that n has to be bigger than 2, so the only odd number that the smallest odd number n can be is n equals to 3. So now we have to construct an answer for n equals to 3. But luckily we really don't have to do that because the question gives us a possible structure for n equals to 3, so we just follow this format. So for any odd number, let's say n equals to 7, we can split it into a chunk of 2, a chunk of 2, and a chunk of 3. So I could have a chunk of this right here, another chunk of this right here, and then I could have the same format of this right here for the third. So I just do this. I just print out this format while subtracting n from 2, and if I find out that n eventually is equal to 3, I just print it out in this format. So now we can look at the code, and basically you just enter an n, and if I do a while loop and I save a value for the current value, so it's curval, and I set x to curval initially, and first I check if n is equal to 3, and if n is equal to 3, I just print out this format, as you can see, where x correlates to 1, x plus 1 is correlating to 2, and x plus 2 is correlates to 3. And after I print this out, I know that since n is equal to 3, I can break because this prints out 3 values, so I know that my solution is complete. And if n is not equal to 3, then that means n can be subtracted by 2. And if therefore I can just print out the format right here, which I talked about, which x plus 1 represents 2 and x represents 1. And then I subtract n by 2, and then I add current value by 2, and then I just keep on going until n is either equal to 3 or n is either smaller than 1. And then I print out the n line, and the and the answer works, as you can see right here. Yep. And then I'm gonna attach the code to the description, and I'm gonna be like, I have like different like video ideas, and I feel like they're pretty cool and I want to look into them, but I'm gonna still keep on looking through, like talking about problems that I did or found interesting, because I think that's really fun and I look forward to doing it every day. And also, like, I finally finished my finals, and I feel kind of free, so I'm gonna be doing some more coding problems, and my goal by the end of the summer is to hit 1900, which looks kind of unrealistic, but I think I can do it. So, yeah, I'm just gonna be doing like more problems, and I'm gonna be talking about more problems. I'll still probably be talking about like question B, and question C, and sometimes question A's, but I also want to talk about more difficult problems, although they may be harder to explain. But yeah, that's mostly it, and I'm going to be looking into like new video formats that look cooler and are easier to follow. So, thank you and have a nice day.